Today we've decided to do a short video on different types of factory loadings designed for stalking and how the different bullet heads they're loaded with will perform on game and what may be best for you to use. So for this comparison today we're going to look at 243 rounds. It's one of the most popular calibers in the UK for deer stalking, and especially in England being the minimum deer legal caliber. The first rounds we'll look at are your standard cup and core rounds, which are probably the most popular style of hunting round worldwide. They're designed to make a small entry, expand on impact and create a larger exit wound, which will help with blood trail and internal damage. Here we've got a couple of examples. Federal make a fantastic round in the power shock. Gecko make a fantastic round for the 243 and the 105 grain. Some other popular rounds to mention would be the Remington Core-Locked, the Seiko soft points, all excellent rounds. For stalking out to 200 yards, they perform perfectly, absolutely perfectly. They group well, and as long as you can hit the kill zone, they're going to do exactly what you need them to. So the next particular style of round we're going to look at are rounds with ballistic tips. These seem to be very popular, probably because they look cool, but basically a ballistic tip is fairly similar to your cup and core lead tip bullets. However, these have a copper jacket, lead core, but it's tipped with a plastic ballistic tip. They're basically a hollow point, and what happens is when you fire a ballistic tip and it impacts on your target, the tip pushes back into the hollow point and it helps it basically expand, helps the bullet expand uniformly, giving huge internal damage and a good exit. A lot of the ballistic tips are designed to be very fragile and are vermin rounds, so you want to pick something in the higher weight range for the bullet you're using. This will have higher sectional density and will help the penetration basically on target. You don't want something light. For example, using a 243, you don't want to use a 58 grain ballistic tip round, which will 100% be designed for vermin use for your deer stalking. You want to maybe use something in the 80 to 100 grain range. It will just perform better. It's got more weight there, better sectional density equals better penetration, and it's more fair on the quarry, and you'll have better results. So far all the rounds we've looked at are lead based. The last particular round we're going to look at is a completely lead-free alternative, which a lot of people are using now, especially the Forestry Commission. This is the Barnes TTSX. There's a lot of different lead-free rounds available in the market and they all perform fairly well, but this is probably the most popular. Basically the bullet head is completely copper. It has got a ballistic tip, and underneath that ballistic tip's a hollow point, and basically performs the same way. Well, the ballistic tip will push back into the body of the hollow point and help it expand. Unlike these other rounds we looked at, which will lose a considerable amount of their original weight, these retain almost 99% of their original weight and punch right through whatever you're shooting at. So they're a fantastic round. The internal damage is unbelievable, and they normally leave a pretty good exit as well, but they have about 99% weight retention. So another important point to take into consideration when you're picking what round you're going to use for your deer stalking is bullet weight. In this country we have 6 different species of deer, ranging from muntjac all the way up to fairly large body into red deer. So what is going to be suitable for maybe a muntjac, Chinese water deer or roe deer may not be suitable for fallow, sika and red. So you're going to have to take that into consideration. There is no perfect round for all species, so you're going to decide what you're predominantly stalking and pick an appropriate weight with the appropriate sectional density to kill that animal cleanly. For example, a roe deer, maybe an 80 to 100 grain would be perfect, but a red deer you may need to step up to a larger caliber like a 308 or a 270 and shoot a bullet in the 130 to 150 grain to have perfect performance. I know it can be fairly confusing. There is a lot of bullets available on the market, but hopefully this video will help you decide on which round is going to be suitable for your needs.